You sit down with your books, telling yourself that this time will be different, that this time you will finally study the right way, stay focused, and walk into your exam, feeling confident. But deep down there is a quiet tension, a subtle doubt that whispers that you have been here before, repeating the same cycle, making the same mistakes, and somehow expecting a different result. And the truth is that most students are not failing because they are not smart enough. They are failing because they are unknowingly trapped in habits that destroy their productivity, habits that feel comfortable, even productive, but in reality are silently sabotaging their success. And the most dangerous part is that these habits do not look like mistakes at all. They look like effort, they look like hard work, they look like dedication. And that is why they are so hard to detect. Because when you spend hours highlighting your textbook, it feels like progress. When you reread your notes again and again, it feels like you are reinforcing knowledge. And when you cram the night before the exam, it feels like you are squeezing every last drop of preparation out of your time. But what if I told you that the E's very actions are the reason you feel stressed, unprepared, and overwhelmed when it matters the most? What if the issue is not how much time you are spending, but how you are using that time? Because there is a hidden difference between studying hard and studying effectively. And most students never learn this difference. They simply follow what feels natural, what everyone else is doing, what they have always done, without questioning whether it actually works. And this is where the real problem begins. Because when you rely on habits like cramming, your brain is forced into survival mode, absorbing information temporarily without truly understanding it. And when you try to multitask, jumping between subjects, notifications, and distractions, you are training your mind to lose focus rather than build it. And when you depend on passive review, simply reading or watching without engaging, you create the illusion of learning without the substance of it. And over time, these patterns become deeply ingrained, shaping not only your study sessions but your confidence, your mindset, and your belief in your own abilities, until one day you start to think that maybe you are just not good at studying. Maybe you are just not capable, when in reality, you have simply been using the wrong approach all along. And the moment you begin to question these habits, the moment you become aware of them, you take the first step toward transforming not only how you study, but how you think. Because awareness is the beginning of change. And once you see the truth behind these common mistakes, you can never go back to studying the same way again. At first, it does not seem like a problem, because everything feels under control. You tell yourself that you still have time, that you can always catch up later, that one more scroll, one more distraction, one more delay will not make a real difference. But slowly, almost invisibly, the pressure begins to build, and what once felt like plenty of time starts to shrink into something tight and suffocating. And this is where the real danger reveals itself, not in a sudden failure, but in a gradual loss of control. Because cramming is not just a bad habit, it is a reaction to fear, a desperate attempt to outrun time. And in that rushed state, your brain shifts from deep understanding to shallow memorization, holding onto information just long enough to survive the exam, but not long enough to truly own it. And multitasking makes this even worse, because every time you switch your attention, even for a second, you are breaking your focus and forcing your brain to restart, draining your mental energy without you even realizing it. And what feels like productivity is actually fragmentation. Your thoughts scattered, your concentration weakened, your confidence quietly slipping away. And then comes passive review, the most deceptive of them all, because it feels calm, it feels safe. It feels like progress without resistance. But that is exactly the problem. Real learning requires effort. It requires struggle. It requires moments where you cannot immediately recall the answer, because that struggle is what strengthens memory. And without it, your knowledge remains fragile, easily forgotten under pressure. And as the exam gets closer, something unsettling begins to happen. You start to notice the gaps, the uncertainty, the feeling that despite all the hours you put in, something is missing. And that realization can be terrifying, because now you are not just fighting the exam, you are fighting your own doubt. And this is the moment where many students panic, pushing themselves harder but not smarter, repeating the same ineffective patterns with more intensity, hoping that effort alone will compensate for strategy. But effort without direction only leads to exhaustion, not success. And the suspense lies in this silent question that lingers in your mind. What if everything you have been doing is not preparing you at all? What if the methods you trust are the very things holding you back? And once that question takes root, it becomes impossible to ignore, because deep down, you begin to sense that there must be a better way, a smarter way, a way that does not rely on stress, confusion, and last-minute panic. But the challenge is that changing your approach means letting go of what feels familiar, stepping into discomfort, and trusting a process that may feel slower at first, but is far more powerful in the long run. And this is where transformation begins, not in doing more, but in doing differently. The shift begins the moment you decide that your habits will no longer control your outcomes, that you will stop confusing motion with progress, and start focusing on what truly works. Because effective studying is not about how long you sit with your books, it is about how deeply you engage with the material. And when you replace passive review with active recall, something powerful happens. Your brain is forced to retrieve information, to struggle, to strengthen the very pathways that make knowledge stick. And when you practice spaced repetition instead of cramming, you give your mind the time it needs to absorb and retain, turning short-term memory into long-term understanding. And when you eliminate distractions and commit to single tasking, even for short, focused sessions, you begin to rebuild your attention, training your mind to stay present, to go deeper rather than wider. And this is where confidence starts to grow, not from guessing or hoping, but from knowing that you have built a solid foundation, step by step, day by day. And the beauty of this transformation is that it is not reserved for a few gifted individuals. It is available to anyone willing to change their approach. To anyone willing to face the discomfort of doing things differently. Because real growth has never been about staying comfortable. It has always been about stepping beyond what feels easy and embracing what actually works. And as you begin to see the results, as you notice that you can recall information faster, understand concepts more clearly, and approach your exams with a calm, focused mind, you realize that the struggle you once feared was actually the path to mastery, that the effort you once avoided was the very thing that would set you free from stress and self-doubt. And in that realization, something shifts within you, a quiet confidence, a sense of control, a belief that you are capable of far more than you once thought. And this is the moment where everything changes, not just your grades, but your mindset, your discipline, and your future. Because once you learn how to learn, you carry that skill with you for the rest of your life. And no exam, no challenge, no obstacle will ever feel the same again. And as you move forward, remember that success is not built in a single night of cramming, but in the small, consistent actions you take every day. The choices that seem insignificant in the moment, but shape your results over time. So choose wisely, act intentionally, and trust the process, because the way you study today determines the person you become tomorrow. And if you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.